Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to our Tomb Kings campaign. Varda here, and not with good news. It appears that King Rakash has become somewhat cornered in this part of the world. Lots of miners with blasting charges, lots of miners, and a lord. I don't know if we can win this one. I'm not sure if it's worth trying. It says decisive. But I don't want to give up Rakash so easily. I'm not sure. Without a spellcaster, this is going to be very difficult, but we're going to try. So I'm afraid to say that, we won't be starting with that epic quest battle today. We'll be starting with a desperate defense of our city, Rosetra. And the question now is, what do we have that we can use to our advantage? Well, we have cavalry. Maybe we can use that to some effect to pull them around. We have archers as well, which will be useful. But what I'm scared of is that the blasting charges are very simply going to wipe out the infantry line nearly immediately. We do have some reinforcements coming in. When are they arriving? 6 seconds versus 2 minutes. Okay, so we'll have a numbers advantage for a little while. Maybe we can use that as well. I'm deploying with the archers up front and the infantry far back. The idea is that the archers will focus down as much of the units with blasting charges as possible. Ah, yes. And of course, we have our Lord mounted, which would be useful if it wasn't for the fact I need his leadership buff in the center, so I can't be sending him gallivanting with the Nehekara horsemen. Well, I suppose that's all there is to say, really. We're just going to have to get into it and hope. I don't see much of a world where this goes well for us, and I'm sorry to say that, but we're going to have to try and shoot down the blasting charges units. And already that isn't happening, so yeah, we're just going to eat a lot of fire on the way out. I walked up way too far with my archers on that triple speed. I guess we're going to try and take out the dwarf warriors with great weapons, and we'll get on top of the quarrelers on the other flanks. And this is where we suicide a couple of our units, basically. To eat some of the blasting charges, we don't have much of a choice, so I'm sending in the weakened non-garrison units. Gonna pull back here. I think the Nehekara warriors would benefit from being shock cavalry. Alright, bam, there's the blasting charges. And that's basically a full unit annihilated. We'll get the rest of the skeletons onto the giant slayers. Let's pull the archers back. If they can get behind the line, then there's a chance we can do some focus fire here. That's what we're aiming for. I'm trying to use the horsemen right now to keep them pulling units to positions they don't want to put units in, basically. Let's send the rest of the infantry forward now. Keep them in this nice blob, and I should hotkey these archers onto 2. So there are no miners with blasting charges anymore. We just need to focus down units, basically. Oh, good lord. Our general is taking an absolute pounding. Oh, right, yeah, giant slayers. He's on a horse, isn't he? Oh, dear. Well, I did say that this was a bit forlorn. We're going to give it a go. But I would expect, even with the Ushabti coming in for us in just a moment, that there is very little we are going to be able to do in the way of claiming a victory here. The giant slayers are being taken down slowly but surely. Those little orange mohawks are becoming one with the desert sands, but I think that might be all that we achieve. Taking a zoomed out look at the battlefield, our cavalry has been caught up to by the great weapons. Our other cavalry and our carrion have been routed. We've got leadership issues through the wazoo because the general went down. Yeah, I didn't think so. I didn't think we could win, but I wanted to give this a go. Now, we have a couple of choices here. If they sack the settlement, we'll be okay. We'll just have to wait a few turns to raise a second army. Of course, we can immediately raise a second army and then just switch out its leadership for Rakash in future. But, yeah. I mean, I'm just going to speed this up. I'm going to let them walk over us now because this is well and truly over. Yeah, close defeat. What did they do? Did they occupy? They occupy. Alright. Now, this is interesting. Because I was moving Khalida back. Reinforce the troops or reinforce the workers? We'll take the minus growth, even though I don't like it, because I can't afford to have my armies not replenishing right now. Khalida just got some nice buffs to being in a city, and we got the priesthood of Nehru dynasty, which is really important, because we lost our Lich Priest. Now, you'll remember... Or perhaps you won't, but we'll go under the assumption that you'll remember that we were using our Lich Priest to heal our troops via the Restless Dead. And so not having that is not good for us. You know, that's a lot of sustain that we suddenly didn't have in the army. I'm going to get another couple of units of horsemen here. And I think I'm going to reinforce our... Yes, we have the Lich Priest, so that'll take us up to full capacity. We'll switch around some of these things when we get another Lord up and running, which we are going to do immediately. And we are going to take... Jenna. Well prepared, already level 2. And we are going to chuck into his army as much of the good stuff as we can, so that we can bring a second army with us to attempt to take things like Rosetta. Now that we're done with that, we're going to go for the Ritual of Soph. We took the Priesthood of Nehru previously because we wanted another Lich Priest, but now we're going to go back to sort of empowering our constructs. And Libarus, this building was damaged by something. Is it in the event log? Well, if it is, I don't see it. That's it for this turn, so we're going to roll the turn over and we'll see what the dwarves do, whether they continue their offensive or if they back off and allow us some room to breathe. And we can see now that they are continuing their offensive. There's no way we're winning this. So we're just going to auto-resolve this. And Khalida is going to have to sweep back through these territories with her newly reinvigorated army. Goodness me, these dwarves are asking to be put beneath the sands. Let's get the Lich Priest into Khalida's army. That'll help us with some replenishment. And then we are going to... We're going to march up to near Marak. Not going to go into Marak, because I don't want the plague. But I think we're going to have to deal with this Dwarven incursion before I risk going after the quest battle. So sadly, that is a bit delayed. We're going to keep recruiting this army for Nakash when he comes back. It should be full when he returns, so... King Jenna will be able to start recruiting another army because we'll have another dynasty available. Actually, can we get another king already? We could. Well, we don't need to. We'll get Rakash and then we'll recruit with Jenna. And in a few turns we might be able to do something more with that, but we can get 3 armies up, and that is going to help us greatly. Now that we've moved, we are going to roll over another turn. We won't repair right now, just in case they attack. And yes, hopefully we'll be able to hunt down some dwarves.
You are keeping me from my purpose.
Borek, you don't... Like, look at this guy. He doesn't get to sack our cities. And then just suddenly decide he's scarpering off. Oh, and we got an underway interception. Well, I think we all know we're fighting this one. Welcome to the battle for Mount Arachnos. There's enemy no ceremony here. This is an execution of the enemies of the Tomb Kings. The warrior queen Khalida wills it, and so it shall be. We're going to spread our leadership auras across the front here. We're going to get our stalkers up front in vanguard because they can be. We'll keep the scorpion somewhat closer to home for now so that the necrotect can heal up and empower him. And we'll make sure that the Necropolis Knights are here for reinforcing flanks. We'll get the light cavalry up the front, the Ushabti warriors on the other one to reinforce our infantry. We'll spread some spearmen through our line because we don't want a flank with 2 spearmen on it versus a mainly infantry army. There aren't any big monsters, so it's okay just to throw them into the line, I think, here. And then we shall begin. Advance, my undead legions! The dwarves have tested our patience, and they shall do so no longer. As the Stalker units begin to get closer and closer, we're going to do what we did last time, which is attempt to identify the blasting charges, because they are the thing that is most dangerous to us. We're going to move our cavalry up the flanks a little bit. But we aren't going to commit just yet. We're going to shell them. And then we're going to run. We're going to try and bait them into our catapults and into our archers, because we should be faster than the Slayers. Once the catapults get into range, we should be able to start wreaking havoc. And we'll retreat the Stalkers for now, onto the flanks. I'm going to take this moment to get a nice double cavalry charge into these Slayers with the Horsemen. Ooh! Nice! And that should be a dead Slayers unit. They are pretty good versus the horses, obviously. But it's 2-on-1 with that kind of a charge and poison. It's not looking great for them. We're going to pull out. Remember that Slayers are unbreakable, so we can't just force them to rout. And we are going to start catapulting down any miners with blasting charges we can see. We're also going to get our archers to move forward. We might not be able to fully kill them before they can clash with the infantry line. But if we can reduce their numbers, then the number of blasting charges they will be throwing will be considerably less impactful. Why is this not going as... Am I issuing the wrong command? I might have been. We'll get the Nehekara warriors in here. The Stalkers can start shooting on the flanks at those. And now we're going to switch our archers very shortly anyway, to deal with the Quarrelers. If they're going to do any damage, they've already done it, the miners. So we're going to put the Tomb Scorpion into them. We're going to reinforce that with the Necrotect. We are going to send our cavalry round to the backside to deal with the Quarrelers and the Necropolis Knights as well. Khalida is going to go towards the centre here of this big blob, where Venom Wave will be the most useful, and we're going to commit the Ushabti to the centre. Our healing is going off. And hopefully we have a spell. He doesn't have Restless Dead, sadly, but we can begin to buff some of our stuff up. Let's get the archers out of combat now. They weren't meant to be in combat, and that's unfortunate. The Necropolis Knights should begin routing this position over here on the right, and the Tomb Scorpion should begin doing the same for the left. With Khalida in the middle now, we are going to activate Venom Wave to push people away from Khalida. And I'm going to move Khalida away here from Thoric, just into the back of those miners, and drop the Helm of Discord. The Helm of Discord is obviously going to help us here quite a bit, and our archers are going to start shooting at Thoric. I'm going to keep the Lich Priest close to those damage archers, because if I don't, they're going to crumble. And we'll get the Ushabti archers to shoot into them as well. Has the Tomb Scorpion taken any damage? Just a little bit, so we'll get that nice restore going. And I'm going to send the Tomb Scorpion to keep Thoric active. It's not a good fight for the Tomb Scorpion, apparently. But, you know, we are losing the Nehekara warriors here. And I'd rather put something big that can absorb some friendly fire with some healing while the archers begin to do their work and hopefully do some significant damage to Thoric, because he's very tanky. That's one of the easiest ways of dealing with him. We are going to put some troops now onto chasing down units. Not that we need to, but we don't want them to rally, so if they don't have the shattered icon, we're going to put some cavalry into them, we're going to put some extra infantry there, etc, etc. We can see that they have a Rune of Oath and Steel going down for a bit of an armor buff. The Necropolis Knights, to put it mildly, do not give a monkeys. And there is the route. Now, he will die, but his armies have given me a lot of trouble. So I am just going to zoom in here on what are hopefully the last moments of King Thoric's reign. And there it is. King Thoric lies broken upon the grounds of his own underway. The Tomb Kings stand victorious. Okay, having completed the battle, we can see that we did indeed lose one unit of Nehekara warriors. But, in return, we picked up the Sword of Might, giving an extra 8% weapon strength to a character of our choosing. And we got another level on High Queen Khalida, along with some money. And we're going to go for Endless March, because most of what we've got left is pretty healthy. We got Assured Assailant, which is extra leadership aura when attacking, and leadership when attacking. That's very good for the Tomb Kings. We like our leadership to be good. And we got the Blessed Legion of Fark? I think it's Fark. I think the PH is a but sound. Anyway, I'm no good at pronunciation. Now the question is, do we replace a unit of archers that we've already got? I think for now we'll recruit that unit of archers into our army. And we will march High Queen Khalida to Rezetra. Now this city has the plague, but we should be able to just auto-resolve this, take the city, occupy it, and then hopefully... Oh, we got the other Trickster's Shard, which is 20% spell resistance. I'm not sure I'm too keen on that one. We might give it to our Lich Priest, and we're just going to hop out of Rezetra here. We can't get too far away because we took the settlement. But that does give us our full starting province back. And we will now be able to issue that growth commandment once again. And increase the range of armies starting in our territory. Now, for this skill point on Khalida, I do have a little bit to go over here because I did put some skills mainly into the stuff up here, into Khalida while we were leveling up during the last episode. And I am going to start by spending a skill point here on Libaris's Best. 25% ammunition for skeleton archers, armies, faction-wide, and plus 3 recruit rank. So they start with more leadership, better accuracy, stuff like that. I think it's better accuracy. Yes. You can see that the accuracy, melee attack, melee defense, and leadership are increased by experience. For our Necrotect, we are going to drop a point into ceremonial bandages, because I don't want the dwarves shooting him out from under me. And our Lich Priest, with his first 2 levels here, is going to get a point in Jaff's incantation of Cursed Blades, and Neru's incantation of Protection. I think that had I used Neru's incantation of Protection a bit better in some of our earlier fights, we may not have been in the dire position we are today. So, before we end the turn, we've 3,600 gold to play around with. We're going to spend 1.4 of that on upgrading Resetra once more, and upgrading the Grand Ossuary, so that our cities continue to expand at a good rate. We can't get much for this army here, so we're just going to max it out with spearmen and swords. That'll take 2 turns, and Rakaf is injured for 2 turns, so we'll be able to get him an army pretty soon. If we do win any more fights, I am going to want to grab ourselves the patronage of Ketep or priesthood of Jaff. Something just to unlock a couple of heroes, so that our armies have some extra leadership and some extra strength. For next turn, we are going to march on Granite Massif, but in order to get there, we first have to repair these buildings and then smash that end turn button. Krokgar of the Last Defenders is at war with Forek, and I suspect... Oh! I was going to say, I suspect that means he'll be quite friendly to us. Well, no, apparently we now have another problem to deal with. Bollocks. Alright, the Ritual of Sokf is completed. Our Tomb Scorpions are getting some nice buffs. Ah! Well, the desert is being very kind to me. It has given me that sinking feeling. Rapid expansion combined with heavy precipitation has turned the ground surrounding our city walls to quicksand. Anyone who passes over it is swallowed by the desert, although such a thing cannot harm the unliving. Our enemies will struggle to fight us as they are slowly consumed by the stands. Which means that any enemy army that enters our territory will be taking attrition, and I am a big fan of that. Here in the tech tree, we are going to research the patronage of Ketep, so that we can get a Tomb Prince to help Rakash next turn with his leadership issues. And now I'm a little bit unsure of what to do. My plan was to march over to Granite Massif and take it, but with Krokgar and a full stack of lizards on the horizon, I am not sure that that is particularly wise. Likewise, if we do the Venom Staff, I'll just hit the teleport button here, we'll see that there is a small amount of Black Knights, but lots of reinforcements are expected, and it's saying we'll take medium casualties. Taking medium casualties before Krokgar arrives could prove to be very detrimental. However, I'm going to take a risk. I think the Venom Staff could be really useful for us to get Khalida upgraded, so we are going to fight this battle. We are going to do our quest.
Since time out of mind, the vampire thralls of my warped cousin have blighted Nahekara. Today, we burn out that blight Hear me, O Asaf. This slaughter I offer in your name. May your venom flow in the sacred staff, that I may shatter your adversaries for all eternity.
Alright, we are very quickly gonna hit that pause button. Because we have 2 choke points to defend. This is very useful for us. This should help us minimize casualties. I'm going to send the Tomb Guard and 1 unit of spears to the right. And I am going to back them up with 2 normal units of archers. I am then going to send... I think, yes, so if we do that, and then we group this lot up over here. I'm going to send the slightly worse infantry than the Hekara warriors and a group of spears to the left, and I'm going to send with them the regiment of renown unit of archers so that they have some extra power. I am then going to... I want to deploy the Stalkers forwards, but I'm going to be quite conservative here. We're going to keep the Sepulchral Stalkers on one side, then the Hekara Horsemen on the other, and the Tomb Scorpion and the Necropolis Knights ready to back the front line up at any time, along with our heroes, just in this nice central area. Alright, let's resume play, and I am going to quickly speed this up. I am now wondering... Yes, this is why I kept horsemen on this side of the river. Alright, let's quickly resume normal speed. And I am going to send the Tomb Scorpion and the Ushabti to back up the Necropolis Knights and then the Hekara Horsemen. The Sepulchral Stalkers will array here. And we'll keep the catapults where they are. Of course, we'll send the Necrotect with them. And we'll keep the Lich Priest here so that he can drop Neru's Incantation of Protection on our front line as it gets charged. Having a look at what they've got over here. Zombies, 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 and zombies. I'm sensing a theme. Alright, let's get the Tomb Scorpion, the Ushabti, the Nehekara Horsemen, and the Necropolis Knights into this position over here. Zombies, zombies, and zombies won't last very long versus this mass concentration of high-quality stuff. You can see that now we've begun committing forces. They're beginning to commit cavalry into this gap, so we are going to grab our Lich Priest. And as they come in for the charge, we are going to give Neru's Incantation of Protection to the Skeleton Spearmen, because they are significantly weaker in defense than the Tomb Guard. We are then going to give Jaff's Incantation of Cursed Blades to the Tomb Kings, because they hit significantly harder than the Spearmen, even with the Spearmen's bonuses to anti-large. Over here, we're going to pull our Nehekara Horsemen, or Nehekara Horsemen, out, because they're not so good in sustained combat, and we're going to cycle charge the zombies just to try and reduce their leadership. The Necropolis Knights, we are going to have focus that down, and we're going to tell the Tomb Scorpion to go and have a word with the Corpse Cart. I'm going to stop the artillery from firing now. It's going to be doing a lot more friendly damage than it is damage to foes, and we're going to drop Neru's Incantation of Protection on the Spearmen one more time. The Stalkers should be able to shoot. I'm not sure if they are worried about friendly firing, or they're not on... They are on fire at will, okay. Meanwhile, over here, I think we're going to send Khalida to deal with the Lamian Vampire Lord Waldakiaratep. The cavalry should be shattered, and in fact, in order to make sure that it is, I am going to send the Sepulchral Stalkers round instead of on missile, and have them charge the rear of these knights. We'll drop another Jaff's incantation of Cursed Blades. Can we double cast it? We can. We'll give it to the Stalkers. And over on this side we can see that the zombies are beginning to crumble. The corpse cart as well, under the weight of our combined cavalry and construct assault. I'm going to drop the healing on the construct now. Not because it's taken any damage, but because any minor chips it has taken will be repaired. And then it'll be good for next battle. We're just going to swarm this with everything. It'll start crumbling nearly immediately. It says that the enemy has crossed the river to the right and outflanked our position. I'm not entirely sure that's what happened, based on what's shown up. It seems like the enemy have actually just sort of come to run straight at us. Because of that... yeah, let's get our archers to shoot at the Lord. Oh, he's going for the Lich Priest. Run! I will not lose the second Lich Priest today. Run towards Khalida. And then Khalida can Venom Wave him away for a moment. And take that fight. We're going to have another problem here, though, in that a lot of stuff is going to hit this line. And this line has already taken quite a bit of damage. However, I am going to immediately charge with the Stalkers this time. We aren't going to hang about. And I'm getting my cavalry to come over the river on this side in the hopes of a good flank. I suspect that because a lot of stuff has already been damaged, the dogs will crumble very quickly. So I'm not too worried about how this fight goes. I just really don't want the Tomb Guard to crumble. The more damage that we can avoid, the better. And I'm going to send the Tomb Scorpion back at that corpse cart, which didn't learn its lesson the first time around. Pull the Lich Priest out. In a few seconds, the halberd-wielding Stalkers will have taken out the Dire Wolves, and with it, the leadership penalties are going to kick in pretty hard. Interestingly enough, we can see that they are now approaching with units of Graveguard and Skeleton Spearmen, but they're approaching on the same side of the arena as they were previously. Oh wow, yeah, this is quite a lot of stuff. What is it, Skeleton Spearmen? Okay. Well, I guess we need to pull our cavalry back over to this side of the river. Let's get our mostly undamaged unit up here to start moving to meet them. Let's get our Stalkers over here just to go and wipe out that Lord to get as many leadership penalties as possible. Deploy this infantry to the front line, switch the focus of the catapults. Get the Ushabti Greatbows in position. With the help of the Necrotech, the Scorpion should be able to do quite a lot of work here. And I thought this battle was over, so I was perhaps a little hasty with the first restore that we threw. But you live and learn. I didn't know this battle before we went into it, so I wasn't quite prepared. You know, I'm doing this mostly blind for Khalida today. I mean, I have played some of Khalida in the past, but what I remember is minimal, if anything. I'm going to switch these off of melee right now, so they'll shoot in. We're getting quite a lot of value out of our catapults right now. And, yeah, for the time being, I think I'm just going to send the Tomb Scorpion in to buy our range some time to do its work. And our infantry time to get into position. Let's get the Stalkers to shoot down that Lord. I mean, right now, this blob is a catapult's wet dream. Oh my goodness. I mean, the leadership on my Scorpion could be a little bit better. But right now, the Vampire Lord is not having the best of times. They are beginning to break up this clump a little bit. I think we got the heal off. We did. And there are some Vargeists and some other creatures, but we did keep some archers at the back here ready to deal with that, so we aren't completely unprepared. Let's commit the Ushabti here. Get the Nehekara warriors into the skeleton warriors that have charged forwards. I mean, that vampire has run out of regeneration, so he's really going to start struggling in a minute. And Khalida and the Necropolis Knights will just have to be enough to pull the Knights off of the rest of our forces. We'll switch the archers to firing into the bigger blobs so that they do less friendly fire. It's really only the Scorpion in there. And boy oh boy is my Scorpion doing some good work. I will need to give this Scorpion a name. And, well, I mean, I'll wait a little while to see if you guys have one for him. I'll post it up on Twitter or something, but if you don't, I'm sure I can come up with something suitably intimidating. Fred, perhaps. Our other unit of cavalry currently isn't doing anything, so I reckon we should charge the flank of this blob, and we'll pull the other cavalry unit to do so now that that first lord is dead. The Vargeists... No, I do apologise. The Vargeists are doing something of a number to our forces. The archers, I think we've lost a group. No, we haven't. They're in two separate control groups. That's fine. But yeah, the archers did take something of a battering. We're now going to get the cavalry charge in and start funneling our infantry forwards. The Ushabti have done a good job of keeping forces off of the Stalkers, but I think at this point I'm just going to commit the Sepulchral Stalkers to combat along with the Necrotect. I'm a bit tired of waiting for them to give up. They keep sending forces and they keep getting absolutely stomped. I mean, these Vargeists have almost given up the ghost. They are fading. They're going to crumble very soon. There we go, crumbling. And it looks like with the cavalry charges up here, if we can get a couple of cycle charges going, get the Necropolis Knights over here in a moment, we should be just fine. I'm hoping the catapults will start shooting again shortly. In the meantime, I'm going to just quickly cycle charge where the Tomb Scorpion hit, and we're going to order the Necropolis Knights to come over, along with High Queen Khalida. I don't think she's going to be needed, but we're going to order it anyway. Focusing their leader would have been the much more expedient way of doing things, but I simply didn't really have the ammunition for it. So we'll focus him down with a unit of the Stalkers for now, and we'll keep cycle charging our units in, out, shake it all about. And that should be the end of this vampire incursion. And I actually don't think we took all that many damage. It might, damages. It might class as a medium victory still, or a medium losses victory still. But I'm actually very happy with the amount of damage mitigation we were able to do through effective positioning. I think at this point the mass crumble is going to start coming through. We are just cycle charging wave after wave, slowly shattering the morale. The Tomb Scorpion's there, he is causing terror. So, I mean, almost any minute I would expect the victory to play. Oh yeah, Khalida, come in and... Venom Wave? No? I mean, it didn't end up doing anything, but it looked cool. They crumbled a bit too fast for that, unfortunately. Well. Wait, why isn't the battle over? Oh, it is. Okay. Nice! Well, that will give us the Venom Staff. And we were able to defeat quite a hefty number of enemies. And really, we only took half damage on some of our infantry. The Tomb Scorpion also gained a considerable amount of experience from that battle, and that is gonna feel pretty good, as did everything else, to be honest. And we have completed our quest. The vampire counts have been defeated. 2,700 gold has been added to our treasury. Khalida has gained 2 levels. And we are going to take the army replenishment, because we're not sure what that damn lizard is going to do. Khalida has also gained access to her Necro Serpent. Very nice. Our Necrotect has gained his Chariot. That'll help him keep up with the Tomb Scorpion. And we have gotten the Venom Staff. Magical attacks, armor-piercing weapon damage, and the ability to do ranged damage. 200-meter range, shoot shrapnel on impact, strong versus multiple units, poison. Well, I think that that'll help us win our battles. And we also got an extra 500 treasury and some canopic jars, as well as casualty replenishment for all of our armies. The divine poisons in Khalida's veins flow sluggishly, and her venom staff withers. Oh, okay. Well, that was the flavor text for before we did the battle. But we have now done the battle. We have reclaimed the favor of our patron goddess. We'll then lock in that decision, go quickly down the line to Sefko. Come on, say it right. And we are going to go for the Inscription of Repair, which will give us 8% casualty replenishment for constructs. And... oh, this is such a hard decision. Like, these are really nice. Really, really nice. But I love my Scorpions. Oh, we're gonna go Scorpions. I'm sorry, it has to be that way. It might not be the best decision, but I absolutely love Scorpions. And the Lich Priest gained 3 points. We're gonna get him Restless Dead so we can have our healing back. We're gonna go up to the Nero's Incantation of Protection point. We're going to get to point 2, take Restless Dead, and gain ourselves the Incantation of Righteous Smiting for our archers. And that is where we're going to call it an episode. If you have been enjoying the series, please do hit that like button. And if you have a name for our Tomb Scorpion, throw it in the comments below. I'll do my best to incorporate that into the game if you do. I tried to check all the comments on my videos. Thank you very much for watching. It means a lot. Bye-bye.